So we're going to try doing it on the smartboard since we're sort of back in school. So I'm going to do it from here, see how this goes. Okay, so today we're going to do parallel and perpendicular notes. So before we just went over y equals mx plus b, but now we're going to talk about the slopes for parallel and perpendicular lines in particular. Okay, so remember, slope is going to be rise over run, change in y over change in x. So what you want to do to figure out the slopes of each of these lines is find two easy points that the lines go through. So if I highlight here, so if I'm looking at the slope of line A, I'm going to look for an easy point, so it looks like goes through that point here. And then another easy one looks like up here. And we're going to do rise over run. So from the lower point here, I'm going to go, from here I'm going to count up. So I go up 1, 2, 3, 4. So my rise is 4. And then over, and I'm going left 1. So that's going to be a negative 1. So my slope here is going to be negative 4 over 1, 4 over negative 1. And that you can reduce that or simplify that to just negative 4. Okay, B, we're going to do the same thing. Maybe I'll use a different color. Maybe I'll bring this down easier. Okay, so let me go use pink this time. A couple of easy points on the line B. So this one looks pretty easy there. And then, yeah, this one here looks good. So again, from the lower point, I'm going to do a rise over run. Okay, so from this point, I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and then again left 1. So I get the same exact fraction, or the same exact slope. And that again is going to simplify to a negative 4. Okay, so I want you to pause and do the same thing for line C and D. Okay, welcome back. So you, on line C, are looking for some easy points. So that one looks pretty good. This one here looks pretty good. There's a couple more you could have picked, but you're going to do rise over run. So from the lower one, I go up 2. So I'm going up 2. And then at this time, I'm going right 3, which is a positive 3. So I have a positive 2/3. Okay? On line D, let's see, easy points here, looks good there, and here. So those 2 points. From the lower one, again, I'm going to go up 2 and then right 3. So rise over run. Okay, and then those have exactly the same slopes as well. Okay, this time, K and J, so a little reminder about these slopes. You don't even really need to pick points because these are just horizontal lines. And as we've talked about before, horizontal lines are going to have a slope of 0. Line J is also a horizontal line that is going to have a slope of 0. But those slopes are equal to each other. Now, all 3 of these pairs, that's parallel, these are parallel. So the conjecture here, or guess on what's going on, the slopes of parallel lines are, they are going to be equal. So whenever you have equal slopes for 2 lines, those are parallel lines. Okay, next. So the lines below here are perpendicular. Find the slope of each line and then find the product of the slopes. So this is a special little trick you can do with perpendicular slopes. But you're going to start out the same way. So I'll go through this first one with you. So line A, I'm going to find a couple easy points here. So that one looks easy. This one here looks pretty easy. Like they intersected a nice part of the grid. So starting from the lower point, I'm going to go up 1. So up 1, and then to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the slope is going to be up 1, right 5, which is 1/5. Okay, for part B, or line B. So let's see, a couple of points that look like they cross in a good position would be those 2 points. And then counting up and over for those. So from this point I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So up 5. And then I went left 1, which is a -1. Okay, so you may remember this from last year, but perpendicular slopes have a special relationship as well. You might be able to see the pattern already, but we will talk about it in a second. Now, product. The word product means you multiply. So what we're going to do is multiply these two numbers together. So I'm going to go over how do you multiply fractions. Just really quickly. So if I did 1/5 times, and then 5 over -1. So when you multiply fractions, you multiply the numerators together, and that's just going to be 5. And then you multiply the denominators together. That's going to be -5. My pen is not working so well. Okay, so I get 5 over -5. Now you can reduce that fraction. 5 over 5 is just 1. And then with the negative there, your final simplified answer is just -1. Okay, now for line C and D, I want you to pause and do line C and D. Okay, so welcome back. We are going to go through that. So C, this looks like a nice point there, and then another nice point here. So our slope from the bottom going up. So you go up 1, 2, 3, and then over 1, 2, 3, 4. So I went up 3 and then right 4. Okay, on the second line, point here and a point there. And then going from the bottom, I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4. So up 4. And then this time I'm going left 3, so that's a -3. So again, you might notice a pattern in how these slopes are related, but when you multiply them together, so you're going to do 3 over 4 times 4 over -3. Multiply the tops, you get 12. Multiply the bottoms, you get -12. And then again, these will cancel. You end up with a -1. Okay, next one. So I want you again to pause and try this one on your own. Okay, good. I'm going to go through this one a little bit faster. So line K here, we're going from, actually it's just -1. But if you pick 2 of them, it'd be 1 over -1, so that's just -1. And then line J, here is just a +1. And then when you multiply -1 times a +1, you do again get a -1 as a product. Conjecture. So the slopes of perpendicular lines are always have a product of. Well, the product here is always -1. Multiply the slopes together. And then the general form, which you probably learned last year, if the slope of a line is A over B, then the slope of the perpendicular is you flip the fraction, reciprocal fraction, and then you will have the opposite sign. So a lot of times it says it's the opposite reciprocal. Okay, so if you have a slope of A over B, the perpendicular slope is opposite reciprocal. So it'd be a negative B over A. And you can see that that's true in all of these. So 1/5 turns into negative 5 over 1. 3/4 turns into negative 4 over 3. Even this one, negative 1, is like having negative 1 over 1. So when you flip that, it's still 1 over 1. So even this one works and becomes just a positive 1. Okay, on the back here is your practice. So you're going to use this slope-intercept form. So reminder, remember your slope is just right here. So your slope is the m in the mx plus b. So you're just going to tell me what the slope is, what the parallel slope is, and then the perpendicular slope. So you just start with the slope here would be 2. The parallel slope would still be 2. The perpendicular slope would be opposite, so negative, and then flip the fraction. So instead of 2, it would be 1/2. Okay, you're just going to name all of those slopes across here. Down here, you're going to just name based on the slopes in the equation. Tell me if the slopes match. Do the slopes match? Then they're parallel. Are they opposite reciprocals? Then they're perpendicular. If neither of those two happen, then you write neither. Okay, then at the bottom, you do need to convert to slope-intercept form. So make sure you convert to y equals mx plus b. And then you again are going to compare using the slopes. Are they parallel lines? Are they perpendicular lines? Or are they neither of those? Okay, well, good job, and I'll see you next time.